Can't really, since copyrights are unnecessary, and there is no equity or property value, or things that are inventions by human beings to manipulate. As far as origin stories go, about and I made that last statement, that last one, that Adam is the father of faith and immaculate faith and the glory of God. Let's not split hairs. Let's not worry about that. Let's just, when something's right, let's do it. When something's good, let's do it. Understanding truth eternally needs to be done. It doesn't necessarily, well, we first had the market cornered on, it's like I told my dad, I don't care which came first, the chicken or the egg, I just like to eat. And it's, as long as it's here, that's the understanding of the truth to sustain the chicken and the egg, which is also the same truth that sustains your life. And that's what you need to understand and maintain. You don't want to go back in time to found it, oh, there it is, I was right. I theorized that we boo-booed on the boo-boo, and the boo-boo does the boo-boo, and the boo-boo came before the doo-doo. And the doo-doo and the boo-boo, and, it's like, gosh, damn, just, do you understand what's right? Well, then do it. Right? Judeo-Christian murder, those kids are reaching out empathy and respect. Well, don't play around with it. Is it right? Well, then do it. That's what's important. Every time we do something that is not right, that is not good, that does not obey and understand the truth of our existence, we put everything at risk. Okay, and if you know what life is worth, you look for yours on earth, and so now you see the light. Okay. So stand up and share, stand up and care. Don't sit there and just take all the bullshit, and don't believe your own press. Don't believe your own bullshit. You get all these things, these people, the world is watching. The world is watching. Yes. 1322nd Redeemer YouTube channel. The world is watching. And we've had quantum computing for quite a while now. And quantum computing, it's almost like a simultaneous thing. It's like being able to, we can sit back and watch us record stuff, but we can't have like a functioning understanding the way they do in the future. The world is watching in the future. And the apocalypse is the restoration of the faith of the apostles, the Messiah, and living it globally, so we can still, have a beautiful planet. We can still have a planet that's, we can have a better planet. Okay. In 6 months than we have right now. It's like, say, if you're smoking or you're drinking alcohol, and you stop drinking alcohol, the alcohol is going to pickle your liver and kill your brain cells. You stop doing that, and the body starts healing and recovering. Okay, the planet is similar. Okay. You stop driving cars, you stop declaring wars, you stop engaging in economic competition to feel powerful. Things can only get better the moment you understand the applied physics of the Lord's Prayer and deliver yourself from the evil of the delusions of your invention. Right? It applies in physics. You can argue Feynman all you want. It's just shut up rabbit. Right? So, yeah. Well, when people feel they have to be successful and they have to compete and they have to outsmart the other person, they automatically negate any wisdom of anything they're trying to understand. Learn, it's not always necessary learning. A lot of times understanding, most of the time understanding is more important than your perception of learning, right? Because people go to school, they learn, they build spy satellites. People go to school, they learn, they build weapons to mass murder and manipulate over money. Okay, so you're not learning because you're not understanding. You should learn from your mistakes. That's why I dropped out of college. They ain't learning from their mistakes. I'm out of here, right? You've got to make money. It's all about money. The joke on the Big Bang Theory, and that's not funny. It's genocidal. Okay? That Caltech's supposed to have the most brilliant people, the best brains, the best problem solvers in the whole world, and it's over money. And then you have to have sex with the old lady with lots of money to get money for science projects. It's like, if you need to do something, do it. If you don't need to do it, why the fuck are you doing it? You're supposed to be a goddamn genius, right? You see what I'm saying? Early bird. Yeah, I'm early bird. I know me. And so I'm definitely my mom's boy, and I'm my dad's boy, and I am who I am. Yeah, and it's interesting. But yeah, when you watch all these, these people talk about, we're making history. I was watching some of Centennial, I'm going to go back where real history is being made. It's like, what? Assholes who think everything they do is more important than other people's existence think they're making history all the fucking time. You're making history. I'm making my story. It's his story about how big of an asshole he is, and he thinks he's more important than everybody else, and then thus putting all the story at risk, right? Dummy, you're a lummy. His story, and it's hard to have it's pretty much, to get to the point where you could clone his story over and over again, you couldn't have got there without her story too, right? So her story, to go with his story. Guys, symbiotic relationships through holy covenants, as a man on this beautiful planet and able to stay in our lives through, the one thing you're most concerned with is her being okay during, first you give conjugal visits. I'm just kidding, but that's what it seems like on this fucked up state of being of these fucked up assholes. Heaven and hell are states of being, and we're in hell. Trust me, I'm in hell. And so, but the most important thing to you is her health and her well-being, and the baby, is health and well-being. That's paramount, right? And so you work very hard to make sure that that's what we're doing, that's tangible, that's what's happening, right? And so when other people come and fuck that up, they come and you got a virus, you got this, your immune system is constantly compromised, you're being psychologically and mentally attacked by people that keep your immune system compromised so they can come and be the savior and the hero, and he's not doing it right. It's like, forgive, debt, and trespass, love, honor, faithful, peace. Then we'll see how much assistance people need in mental and emotional health, physical and psychological, all that's health issues and things. Okay? You have to forgive, debt, and trespass, and love one eternal, faithful, peaceful first. Then you can talk about any kind of what's healthy. Okay? Right now, it's complete folly, like Pascal talked about. If you're not delivering yourself from evil with the Lord's Prayer, to talk about health, mental, emotional health. We have quantum computing. It can do math better than you, science better than you, and understand in history better than you, and can cut through all the crap through history to, why you do this. You're making history. The whole world is watching. The world is watching. That's why you get all these people. No, I'm not a doubtful person. I'm not a doubtful person. I know I'm right. I know I'm good. I know I'm reflecting the truth of immaculate faith. So I'm not a doubtful person. I don't like being abused, and it's like, what are they going to do next? I don't want it. Okay, never mind. So it's like what? I remember Jesus telling me that in Sierra Vista, just think as selfish and stupid as you possibly can, and then keep going. It's like, okay, that's Perry Como. It's impossible. And you're like, have you watched Dare to Be Stupid with the transform? Okay. Yeah. Thunder the Barb, yes. Dexter's Laboratory, yes. What are we doing? Irrational, insane things. He's supposed to be a genius. Okay, if he's a genius, why can't he understand the applied physics of Jesus and then share it globally with one of his inventions to make sure that everybody is doing the right thing? Because that's what geniuses are supposed to do, right? But I don't know. I think if these people that are labeled geniuses, most of them are a constant threat to the humanity and to the planet and the species. And you can see it in Ryan Johnson's and George Lucas's imagination all the time. Yeah. Daisy, what do we do, Daisy? Help me, Daisy. Please, Daisy. What to do? I do miss a gentle touch, and then a kiss, and then find it's only your imagination again. Yeah, this is one thing that I wanted the most in life, was to find that girl, and then have them their kids, and then have, I've always been a sucker for that. I like getting together and doing things right, and then eating, and then sharing the food. Like that professor at ASU, who said they asked these shamans, what's a traditional Indian native ceremonies you can do? Well, go to your bank account, take out all your money, buy food and invite all the people that you care about over. Okay, and what else? That's it. Feed people. Okay. Wow! How King David and King Solomon of you. How Muhammad and Mecca of you. How Confucius of you. I think they're confused. I know they are. And so, when you're doing things right, you share, care, give, of course, and built to last. I watched this kid, this guy on there, man. He did this thing, 844K, so almost 1 million views, to talk about the cassette making a comeback in 2025. And I'm like, why? You have my MP3s. I like my MP3s. They're this big, right? Little bitty thing, right? I can put some of the one I had that I accidentally put in the washer held 7,000 songs, like 7,500 songs, which that's more than anybody ever really needs, right? Okay. These other ones that I have left that didn't get washed hold about 5,000. Okay, 5,000 songs. So if I wanted to put completely different library on one and the other, but I was like, yeah, wow. And I had cassettes, tapes, and mixtapes and all the things he's talking about, but money's not real. And time isn't money. Time is a precious gift for us to understand and love. Rarely is the question asked, is our children learning? Remember that refrigerator magnet that Amy bought with George Walker Bush, and she bought in Tombstone, and I bought the one that had the two people in the canoe saying "paddle faster." I like her banjos. So, but yeah, we put them on our fridge. Yeah, she has a good sense of humor. She does. She's such a dork. Yeah. No, I'm always gonna love Amy Suzanne Fabre. I went back and looked at some pictures on my phone when she had Natty out in the snow. It's like my wife's very pretty. Yeah, and you can see it in her daughters. She had a good sense of humor. She's definitely honey. Guys, the monster that I married, okay, was invented by, they told me about it in Sierra Vista. We can't get them. So it was invented by a virtual presence, by a group called the Temple of Illuminati and other groups. So everybody, too many cooks is going to spoil the stew. And so it was really hard for my Susie Bear, because I was sitting there also watching these videos about a man named Steph Curry and his little wife. Right? They're cute. They're a cute couple. And the kids, Riley, Ryan, and I didn't get the little guy's name. He's kind of cocky, but it's the thing, guys, is Kareem, you don't have to be cocky to be good at things, but confidence really helps. Knowing you're good at something and be able to do it, right? And you need that confidence to go bring back a horse. Calm the horse. Help the horse get you things that you're going to do. Keep the cattle, herd the cattle. Make sure they don't get away. Make sure, keep the bear and the wolves away from the sheep and the cattle. So you need that confidence. I can do this. You can get it done. Like I do with vicious ducks. And they go, shit. He's gonna, and some of them I've done it with, and they won't. Even if they're after a cat, boy, they won't move or get off. They won't attack you. They'll still try to get the cat. You're like, get out of here, go. But they're dogs. That's what they do. But yeah, that's all I've ever done when they're that vicious and territorial. I'll just come out. And like when they attacked Zeke when he jumped out of the thing in the 2 pits that got destroyed. And I watched that one with. Cesar Emiliano with the one named after the hockey player, yeah. And the one lady was like, "Wow, I'm amazed that they in California, state of California, didn't have the dog euthanized after the vicious attack on the sister." And it's well, yeah. Animals react, like when Natalie got upset about things when I threw the tape and I accidentally hit her, and then she attacked me, and then I was holding I was stopping her from beating me with the broom, and Zeke bit me in the back. I took him outside, and I stuck his paws in his mouth. I said, "Don't bite me. I don't want to bite you." And Natalie was hitting me on the head while I was correcting him. No, it wasn't very hilarious. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't have a virtual presence of a bunch of peckerwoods on the pussy plantation in my house through the TV, the cell phone, the video game. Hey, we're here solving all the problems. We're geniuses. and you're just like, God gravy. It's a shame that we still have to have these gospels be shared by underground on social media since January 22nd, 2013. That is such a crime. It's a crime against humanity. It's a total shame. But we're gonna do like I told that Brendan kid at Johnson Park. We're just going through Johnson Park, and we can get through. There's numerous ways we can get through, and I'm certain we're gonna get there. But we had to make the Wolverine and the Wonder Woman movie had to be made, right? Yeah, that's what the lady said. That's what the man says. Love may grow for all we know. I gotta put that on there too. I don't have that. Don't you listen to what the man says? He said, "Do do do." I like that song. Yeah, it's a good one. I also don't have Admiral Halsey and Uncle Albert. I should put that on too. Why am I getting the big things from Wings? But yeah, I don't have. I grew up on a lot of those songs and I did like them. Yeah. Silly love songs, yeah, but I think I like That's What the Man Said better. But I really do like Uncle Albert and Albert Halsey. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't have the Band on the Run. No, I don't have any of those. I gotta go. Yeah, I'll have to go through and do that. I do have John Lennon, but I bought the CD, so I have Instant Karma and Wells, so I got a CD of John Lennon. And I got lots of George Harrison, because I like My Sweet Lord and Tell Me Who Am I Without You. Yeah, I dig that song. Yeah. But it's like George Harrison? Yeah, I like George Harrison. Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Don't want to leave her now. No, I believe in how. Asking me, well, I don't think he sings it. I think Lennon sings it, but Harrison wrote it. Yeah. I don't know. And then they had a thing on there of Nancy Wilson singing her songs, and it was like, no, it's not better to see people live. No, it's not. No. When they recorded her songs and their love songs in the 50s at her apex of talent, that's like saying, okay, I went to go see Dr. J and Spencer Haywood shoot hoops with Magic Johnson and Earl's Rec Hall. And wow, that was amazing. It's like, no, it wasn't. It was a bunch of old guys, No. You wanted to see us in our prime. That's what these cameras are for, right? Wow, that was really cool. But the thing about it is they were how great they were and how great guys. It's just exercise, and doing it for money. That's an abomination to the no love compares the day that our lives were spared. Tell him I love him and tell him I need him and it'll be alright. Tell him be alright. So I was listening to her sing. What was she singing? Oh, she was singing the Four Seasons. Yeah, it's just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I want to hold you so much. How long else love has arrived? And I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to... Which is a really good tune. But I didn't sit and listen to it. It's like, it's charming. She's cute. Boy, the boobs look nice on a lady. Not a woman her age. Laughing. Yeah, she does look good. She looks good. Yeah, it's Nancy. She's cute. Yeah. But I'm just sitting there going, yeah, no, I got the songs from, I got all the songs from the original recordings for the first albums of them, and yeah, good. I swear, if you haven't, you should. I'm just a Nancy Wilson sucker. If ever I would leave you, it would not be in summer. I think she sings it the best. I know it's a dude song. I just figured it's Nancy Wilson on a crush of a white guy. Because he has his hair streaked with sunlight the same and the rose lips red, so that's why I think it's just Nancy Wilson with a crush on me. Yeah, that's the way I see it. That's how I'm always going to see it. If that's how I choose to see it, that's how I'm going to see it. Okay? That's how I see it. Okay, so leave me alone. Okay. Oh, so guys, and they be jumping on Steph's wife. Well, it's hard, And I sat there and thought about it, this sham of a marriage and all that. That woman, she chose to give birth 3 times. 3 times. Okay? That's not a tiptoe through the tulips. That's not a walk through the park. Okay? That's taking your life into the hands of sexual reproduction. And you know what I mean? Anything can happen during a pregnancy. Hell, Beyonce had toxemia because there was so much stress and manipulation and abuse through competition and conflict through economics in her marriage. And she's supposed to be one of the richest, most powerful people in the world, right? And she had toxemia during her pregnancy, just like Steffi did with Patrick. And we were in hell. We were in Cumberland fucking County, and then had to send her off to Tulsa, Green Arrow and Payne. I think it was Arrow was the one they lived on, but Green Arrow and Payne, and have her be there to be for Granny, because I was in Desert Storm, and she was always worried he's going to get shipped off and he's going to die, and that's where the toxemia was coming. Maybe something was going on, shenanigans and bullshit that was making Beyonce feel that way. And so money can't keep you safe. Money can't buy you love. It's not freedom. It's not security. It's not shelter. Freedom is living the truth of the Lord's Prayer. Shelter is the wisdom to sustain the faith of Psalms and the wisdom of Proverbs to sustain it. That's what freedom and shelter is. And if you don't believe that, I'll visit my buddy out in Bakersfield. We soldiered together years back. We'll talk night and day till there's no more to say. Then I'll head on down the track. I may come back in a year or two, and you may not desire me then. But there are some things that a man must do, and it's time to bum again. You woman, you're getting meaner every day, and the nagging is hard to stand, right? We don't need more money. We need freedom of the Lord's Prayer. And then we need to sustain the shelter of it with the faith of Psalms and the wisdom of Proverbs. Dip dop diddly diddly dop dop do. And there's no contention, and there's no fight, and there's no argument between any true religious human being in the history of the planet. Okay. If you get the Lord's Prayer and say, live this, you don't see Krishnamurti saying, oh man, Jesus was batshit crazy. He's got it all wrong. Besides, we were the originators of that kind of thought, and we came up with it fast. Where does Krishnamurti do that? He doesn't. Where does Suzuki sit there and say that? Whenever I get dear Taro Suzuki in prayer, he says, your Father's love is perfect. He is perfect Father. Everybody should understand and obey his perfect commands. You focus on perfect Father. You focus, you are living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. You focus. That's he always tells me. He doesn't sit there and tell me, your Jesus is wrong, your Jesus is stupid, and we Japanese know better, and we're going to win. He never tells me that. He says when something's right, it's always right, and it's never wrong. And when something's always right, you should always make sure that people understand that so they're not doing things that are wrong. Because if you love people, you want them to be right. Right? Do me wrong, do me right, but don't let me be null in the night. Do you understand? Okay, so we'll load this one up. I don't know. I've been thinking about soaking, but I think I might change the sheets on the bed and just crash. I don't know how much I'm going to crash, though. It's the 4th of July. Yeah. I'll just leave the cooler on for a while so I can kind of rest. Celebrating blowing shit up and killing each other over land ownership and property ownership and owning our children and owning our spouse and going and kidnapping or capturing people from other parts of the world and owning them and their property, so you have sex with it and then you get more property out of your sex. Is it compounding your ownings or is it causing more debt? Well, I'm not understanding exponential growth. Could you explain it to me? Okay. Well, there's a fish tank. Okay, understand. So no, and then that was the big thing with the whole thing with the Civil War and the Shelby Foote argument, that they had to stop bringing in more Africans because the Africans were becoming more of the Europeans, and it was becoming volatile and dangerous, like in Jamaica and Haiti and other parts of in the Caribbean. And it was the revolts and the uprisings were easier to accomplish in the Caribbean, but we still have maritime laws on since the Jefferson administration to manipulate the economics of that region because of those slave revolts. You guys understand? It's horrible. I know. Do you remember the days of slavery? Do you remember what Marcus Garvey said? Do you see why people still have this grudge, still have that bamboo under the fingernail? Do you understand? So, forgive them 7 times upon infinity! Life's eternal, grace is infinite. Forgive that dead and trespass, love one another of abuse. You can't give it the course he built to last. There is no God but God. God's not begotten, nor is God begotten. Do not bear false witness. Do not covet. Do not commit adultery. Do not murder. Don't kill. That's basically when you do not, thou shalt not kill, meaning don't murder each other. Guys, if you try to become a self-righteous hypocrite who never eats the fish, okay, everything will go completely out of balance, and you will die a miserable death trying to be better than the other person that will eat the fish. Right? Are you better than your dog? Are you better than your cat? No. You're not better than they are? Yes, you are. What? You are. Because you have the capacity to understand your existence better than the dog and the cat. Okay? And the reason why the dog and the cat, you care about them so much and you think you love them so much, is because they're reflecting the care that you give them. Okay? Animals can't love you, but they can reflect the emotion and the actions that you could. Little Caesar with the shake, whatever the name of that dog was, No. You got to tell it. I always tell people that too. I used to drive me crazy on Facebook with these people and the dogs. No, they're fronting on you. Yeah, let him do that. He's dominating you. It's relieving endorphins, and he feels powerful when he does it. Or she. Yeah, don't do that. That's your pet. And the big thing, have a bedroom. Close the door. No, do not. No. I did for the longest. I do not let pets sleep in the room with me. No. No. They sleep where they sleep. I sleep where I sleep. Okay. When your wife does that to you, depends on what kind of mood you're in. Like I used to still Smitty when he'd come up and wake me up in the 3 o'clock. And I said, man, if you were a really hot woman and this was 3 o'clock in the morning, this would be really exciting to me. But no, you're a big fat cat with bad breath. And he'd get that little, you're the Cheshire cat. He was a good cat. He was just a nut. Yeah. He used to attack Natalie's butt all the time. And she would laugh. I was like, Natalie, he's attacking. Doesn't that hurt? Okay. It comes up, that's when I knew, okay, I have to have the talk with her. The cat's doing, okay, why is the cat doing that? Well, she's, okay. Oh, like when Zeke, yeah. She laughed, and I was like, okay. And that's when I did have the talk with her, because her mom wasn't, and she goes, you're a pervert. I'm like, no, you're going through puberty. It's, okay. Boy, I have to do everything around here. Amy's not a monster. She was being abused by monsters, and I'm still dealing with these monsters on a daily basis. And they're hard to deal with because they're not humble, they're not kind, they're not caring, and so if you're not humble, you're not kind, you're not caring, you're not intelligent. A lot of people mistake cunning. Okay. And selfish manipulation. A lot of people mistake a selfish capacity to be able to manipulate that's not intelligent. Okay, that's just instincts through nature. When they said a spider does, yeah, and I'm glad I'm a human being. Like when I watch the birds and said, boy, I'm glad I'm a human being. It'd be hard being a bird, and it would be. And which reminds me, I got to check our stuff and see if I need to put out more hummingbird feed tomorrow. But and check on the rest of the stuff. The guys. The world is watching everything the world is watching what's happening now in the future, because of quantum computing and things like that and stuff like that. But you'll be surprised how many people, especially a molecular similitude of yourself, okay, that's going to be so disinterested in what you're doing, what you're talking about, and what you're participating in, because it's really just not that significant or important, and it didn't keep them alive in the year 3026 to have a beautiful planet and love one another on it. So, yeah, the world is watching, but in the future, more people are paying attention to and are more concerned with the 13th, 22nd, and Me channel on YouTube than they are what Facebook is doing with their Meta Center in El Paso, because that's irrational and irrelevant. What I'm doing is rational and relevant and is better for all human beings globally and to restore our ecosystem globally. So it's pretty cool. I'm not an egomaniac. I just, like I said, I so look forward to the day where I don't have to make these videos anymore. So I don't have to teach people on TikTok how to tie their tire, change their tire. I'm not knocking the guy. It's just, dude, Lord's Prayer. I'm pretty sure we're living the Lord's Prayer. If they need to wear a tie, who wears those things? Why I hate ties. But so if they need to, if you absolutely need to, if someone insists on having an ancient archaic wedding with ties, then by all means help them in. There's going to be someone in close proximity that knows how to tie a tie, and there's also lots of people know how to change tires. Okay, and hopefully we will have less tire changing in the future because we'll be less unnecessary driving and doing things that are unnecessary that cause us to be causing more opportunities to buy and change tires and sell tires and all that wackadoodle shit that people do when they don't observe and obey the truth of the perfection of the Immaculate Faith of a Perfect Father. You focus. You living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. You focus. You weed, you see it, pull it, cut it. Then you feed the trees. Feed your lawn, feed it. You've got everything you need right there. It's growing right in front of you. Just get in and put in the work. If somebody invents a little electric lawn tool to do it and it makes it quicker and it's less backbreaking, well, good for you. Now let's share it. Let's Proverbs that. Share, care, give in accordance to need, build the last. Somebody needs it, let's make sure they have it so they can do their work well. And our ecosystem's functioning real and properly, and we have less stagnant water and mosquitoes and less roaches and less boxes with critters living in the walls, destroying the domicile from within. Build to last. Be a good person. Okay? I love you guys. Oh, dip dop diddly diddly dop dop diddly do. I'm tired. I look forward to the day where I'm around people that understand me and care about me, and I get a lot of affection and in a healthy environment and a lot of healthy exercise, healthy rest, and healthy affection. I've been missing out on affection. I'm going to be 60 this year, and I've been deprived of affection and abused because of jealous people. They've been so wrong for so long, but they won't admit it. Just not enough Patsy Cline. You guys fly Patsy Cline to the side of a mountain paying money to dispose of dead bodies because you're sociopaths, but forgive you because life's eternal and grace is infinite. And if you hold a grudge, you're a county judge, and you don't need to be a county judge. You just need to live the wisdom of Solomon. Okay, I love you guys, all right? Peace out, man.